So, working on the ranch truck, and we're finally down to the last sections of it. And in the sketch, I came up with an idea to have like a big giraffe and a mountain lion and a zebra along the side of the truck, kind of in the recessed area. And what we're going to do today is show you how we block in the animals. So how I get the reference photos, the idea for what we're going to put on there, how I transfer those photos to a drawing on the truck, and then how we turn that drawing into a blocked in, ready for detail animal. So to start with, we need to go on the computer here and find some images that inspire us. With painting, a lot of people look at it as they either airbrush something or they brush something. And really that kind of ties your hands when you're trying to work on a project like this. I don't ever look at it as I'm gonna airbrush a mountain lion on the side of the truck. And as you're gonna see in a little bit, airbrush isn't gonna even be involved in this process today. Eventually, I'll definitely have the airbrush out for a lot of the little detail work, but it's really not the appropriate tool for most of what I wanna do here. So what I wanted to show you guys is you can really be creative with how you achieve these textures and looks if you focus on that. You need to focus on the look you're going for, and then when you look at these textures, it'll give you ideas of, oh, this will be a really good way to achieve that texture, and what kind of layering process would be involved to achieve it as well. So now that we've got the reference photos kind of picked out that we want to use, we've got the one I showed you, and then I got this one earlier. Now that we've got a couple reference photos, I'm gonna print those off, head out to the shop, and then start preparing the area. All right, so this is base coat that's been scuffed, so it's ready for some graphics. This is vinyl application tape, nothing trick or fancy. It's kind of like a adhesive backed paper, and you can get it at any sign supply. I'm gonna lay out the area, cover it in tape, that we're gonna draw the mountain lion onto the side. So the most important part to me is the eyes. So what I'm trying to visualize is how big do I want the eyes. I definitely want to see part of the nose, but I'm thinking I don't necessarily need his whole face for any reason, because it's really all about the intense eyes. Another thing that's kind of I like to look at when I'm doing a drawing like this is if I'm going to focus on the eyes, I'll kind of draw one, but then I'll kind of even just do a quick measurement on my pencil there and go, okay, so it's about an eye and a quarter between the two eyes. So now I kind of have at least a rough measurement for the scale. So I've got one eye I'm pretty happy with, and the thing that freaks most people out is symmetry. They don't know how to do it and think it's really complicated, and they spend a lot of time on it. But after doing this for like 40 years, you decide, hey, you can do things the easy way sometimes. So I'm gonna show you how to make an identical mirror image of this eye over here using things that are in normal paint shops. Nothing fancy. Got a pencil and a masking machine. All right, so I've just got a simple piece of 6-inch 3M coated masking paper that is used in body shops all over the world. If you look at it, it's kind of transparent, which is the key. So I'll just set it up here. Just a couple pieces of tape real quick just to hold it in place. Trace out my lines. Nothing too fancy. And then flip it over. We'll just kind of figure out exactly where we want to put it. So now I just gotta eye it up, or you can measure it up if you want. Sometimes I'll even make like super high-tech pieces of, this is like for real tape measure. Just put the edge of the tape down there, go up to there, rip it off, move it over here, and I'll have a guideline. So pretty close there, close enough for what we need. Make sure I like the angle. Looks pretty good. And then it really just is as easy as draw on the back side of your pencil line. So, ran into a problem. My initial size and scale and what I thought was going to work, either this eye's got to get a lot bigger, or I need to move it all over, because right in the middle of the eye is a gap, which that gap won't be that noticeable in some of the fur sections that are a little bit darker, but going right through the middle of his eye, I do not want a gap in the middle of his eye. So I'm going to either move this whole thing down, maybe make the eyes a little bit larger to make his face bigger. Only thing with that is I'd really like to see at least part of his muzzle in there. So now that we've got this kind of laid out roughly, I'm going to kind of take a couple quick measurements, see where his nose and everything would be, and see what I want to do, whether I want to move it up and over, smaller and over, down, down. But usually you got to take some kind of a stab at it at first, see if you like it, and then move around from there. Because when you're dealing with panels like this, where there's different doors and hinges, you want to make sure that anything that's going to land in the lion, we don't want it to land in a spot that's going to ruin the look of it. Alright, so fiddled around with it, sketched until kind of liked it, and the overall layout made sense. Cole came up with a good idea to put the hinges in the middle. So that will work out well with kind of the middle parts of the lion's face. So now I'm going to kind of start just blocking in colors. And I'm not looking to add a bunch of detail at this stage. All I'm looking at here is lights, darks, basically values and textures. So I went ahead and fiddled around with the light yellow for a little bit. Got it where I'm pretty happy with it. Again, I'm trying to, if you look closely at the picture, I'm trying to paint the background colors. So I'm not trying to paint the foreground values, I'm trying to paint like the background between the lines colors. So a few of them I got a little bit too hot with, but I could kind of calm them down with the next color. The next color, I'm going to use the same brown I was using on the giraffe. I'm going to do that mainly just so that they kind of blend together really well. There's going to be a little bit of some gold colors that I might bring out in this, just depending on how the halftone of the brown looks over the pale yellow. But let's do it. Alright, So kind of fiddled with it a little more. All of it was done with my trusty old school Sada spray gun. This is all what I would call blocked in, and from here I'm gonna dig out the brushes. I'll do some dry brushing on it and some airbrushing on it and add all the details and whiskers, and I can do the cool textures in the eyes and the cool textures in the fur. So that's what we'll be working on from there. But here, basically what we're looking at is, if you were to look in between the bright colors, I've tried to lay out basically all of those background colors and get the general shapes and colors where they need to be. So I call it blocking in. That shows you everything you need to know for what I do, taking it from looking on the Google for something that I like, to drawing it out, taping it up, and blocking it in with the spray gun and getting it ready for detail. So we're going to call this one a video. Stay tuned, because we're going to start doing all the detailing, and on this one we'll go ahead and show you how I go about detailing it. So please keep your eyes open for that, and if you would be so kind, please like, subscribe, check us out on Instagram, and we will catch you next time.